It looks like Disney has lost money on Snow White
What?
to the
What?
tune of $170 million, according to Forbes.
Really?
Wow.
Apparently, they blew their budget.
Wow. God, 274. Wow. God. Ooh.
Yep.
That is ouchie.
Did anyone expect this? Like the movie might even done better if Rachel Zegler hadn't run around the world lambasting people she hated politically and scaring everybody away from even accessing or being a part of it.
Yeah. Well, there are two things that they should have done. One, not cast Rachel Zegler, and two, followed the story of Snow White, and they would have been fine.
Well, it's
It may
not
not have
even
gone gangbusters.
it's not even just like
But-
there was a lot of criticism that she doesn't look like Snow White, who was described as having skin as white as snow, and the whole racial replacement thing or whatever. But if we set that aside, she was actively saying controversial things and getting everybody to actively campaign and hate Snow White.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
it
she was
was-
talking shit about the 1937 original.
Yes, and it was her commentary that got a lot of people angry. And it just to the point where didn't one of the producers or director or something have to go yell at her to shut up?
Yeah, the producer had to have a meeting with her and be like, "What are you doing? You need to not do that." And she like pissed, like people got mad when they heard about that. And I think the son of that producer had to be like, "Yeah, you're costing the the project money. Like, don't do like, yeah, of course he's gonna get mad."
I think it's still true that Rachel Zegler has not had one financially positive movie yet.
Oh my god, yeah, that's brutal.
I think that's still true. Because she did West Side Story, which lost money. And she did some indie show that everybody hated, some indie movie. She was also involved with a Hunger Games movie that no one saw or gave a shit about.
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
And I think that one lost money, but she's not a good financial decision, it seems like.
Seems to be a bad bet.
Yeah.
All right. So here's another one of the big discussions on the internet that it's time we sat down and talked about it. So something interesting showed up online. It was an AI video of Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt having a fist fight.
Oh, I did see
And
that.
the reaction to this thing has been huge. And one of the big responses is let's read a little bit of the article. It says a lead Hollywood figure has warned it's likely over for us after watching a widely disseminated AI generated clip featuring Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt fighting. Reese, good name, co-writer of Deadpool and Wolverine, Zombieland, and Now You See Me, Now You Don't, was reacting to a 15-second video showing Cruise and Pitt trading punches on a rubble-strewn bridge, posted by Irish filmmaker Rory Robinson, director of The Last Days on Mars, blah, blah, blah. And that the future with AI... I'm going to mute this. Here they are fighting. It looks pretty good, but if you have an eye for martial arts and you know what fighting looks like, it looks a little AI. It's slightly janky.
Oh yeah, it's janky.
But that's not to say that the average person might not just go, "Oh, this looks really good." And this for the average person might be like, "Oh, well, this could have come from the latest Mission Impossible movie or whatever." Incidentally, they used Seed Dance, which is a Chinese AI company, to generate this video.
Really?
Yeah. What do you think? Is the end of Hollywood as we know it with the reaction to this AI video?
So
On its
Jason
own,
doesn't
no.
care.
No, not on its own. I mean, it's a big deal. I think there's, even if Hollywood was as healthy as it had been, this is a major upheaval.
yeah.
Well, there's been a lot of conversation when it surrounds things like AI slop and whatnot.
Mm.
And how it's destroying art, it's destroying this, it's destroying that. The future is going to be grim. Hollywood's not going to do really well. I've heard some really good commentary recently that actually puts some of the situations in perspective, because it's like, well, AI is just really just an aggregate of stuff of it looking at what looks like a good fight and then putting it together. And it's like, it's not like Hollywood doesn't use an algorithm when it tries to figure out what type of movies people will or won't like. It's not like they don't go to focus groups and try and get consensus opinion as to what might be successful in the new Marvel or the new action movie or whatever. It's not like we haven't already bordered on not genuine art had have been shifting into some sort of consensus algorithmic movie making, where every so often you have to have an action scene and every so often you have to have this. Otherwise, people lose interest or get bored partway through the film. AI is just an evolution of that sort of aggregating things. It's not like we haven't already been creeping down that corner just with straight, calculated decision making when it comes to Hollywood movies anyway. So what makes this that much different, except for the fact that they're using imagery? You're like, well, the actors aren't actually doing it. Well, you do recall that there were a bunch of actors that sold their images so that they could use it, and then they showed up as CGI generated stuff. Yeah, but those are artists actually made that. Yeah, but that's not the actual actor doing it. Did Carrie Fisher actually show up in Rogue One? No. Somebody CGI'd a Carrie Fisher into that thing. And so I'm supposed
to... They might Peter Cushing.
Yeah, and a Peter Cushing.
And a Peter Cushing. So now we're supposed to get really upset because AI is doing it with less people involved, but that's still not the actual actor. Like, there's a lot of... Look, I'm not saying AI is the new solution for everything. Obviously, I use it on the podcast because we have no money. I'm going to change the background of this thing. It kind of looks AI balls. But the thing is, AI is just a tool for things. It doesn't... a lot of the AI generated movies or clips don't replace good, genuine storytelling. But when genuine storytelling becomes rote and systematic and algorithmic and uninspired, then how different is AI stuff from the latest Marvel piece of shit that you put out? You know what I mean? How much worse is it really? Because you're just trying to do stuff to cater to your audience anyway, and AI is just trying to do stuff that it thinks that everybody's going to want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I just find it really... It's not like you guys haven't been making crap already.
What? No.
I'm supposed to be upset about this?
There really does... If they're worried about creativity, then what's the difference between what we're getting now and what we would be getting with AI? Please explain that to me. What is the difference here?
Less people being paid.
Yeah. That is the only difference that we can tell. It's one of those things about AI. It's a tool, as you said, and if you want to differentiate yourself, you have to tell us what value you're adding on top of the AI, or what value you're giving to us that the AI can't. And right now, we don't see a difference.
Well, let's go back to the little screen here. So, let's talk about what I did here with the podcast. We have a bunch of different characters. Now, I sat down and let's say for the me Batman character, I sat down and I went through multiple. It took me a long time before I was happy with the version I got. Like 40 different iterations of trying to get a Batman character that I represented me in sort of a character format that I was happy with. What makes that different than me going to an artist and going, oh, I want this slightly different and this slightly different until it's exactly the way I want it to? Is it his creativity? Because no, because I keep changing it. It's not purely his creativity. It's what I want until I get the vision I want. How many? If you watch behind the scenes with George Lucas and they show him art for stuff they make, and he goes, "We'll change this and make this look more like this," and then they come back with different versions, and then he refines it more. And it's like, because somebody drew it, does that make it any less iterative or any less the personal vision of that guy and more George Lucas' vision? Because the characters look like they are because of my decision making, not the AI.
Right.
I kept telling the AI to adjust things and change things and make it look different. Jason looks like a scientist doctor man because he has a doctorate, not because he has a medical degree. Because that's the joke. But the AI doesn't fully recognize that. And when it creates stuff, it doesn't quite look the way I want it to, so I have to make modifications. How is that different than me constantly having feedback back and forth with an artist until it looks exactly the way I want it to? And we get something fairly similar. Is it that different?
Process, no.
Well, whose creativity is it? Is it my creativity? Is it the AI?
In this case, I would say that it would be your creativity, not the AI's. Because technically the AI isn't creating something. It's copying from what it's been trained on. And so it took your prompt, went through its training and said, this is what comes closest to what I've been requested from this prompt. So it's not even being creative. It's you that's saying, okay, this is what I want, and you're being creative with the prompt you're giving to the AI.
Right, but it's AI slot because AI made it.
Right. And it would be legitimately creative if you had a human do it instead.
Yeah, because I paid a guy.
Yeah. Apparently because money didn't change hands.
But that's the funny thing, especially for well, yeah, not I'm eliminating jobs or something. But the thing is, in a world where AI doesn't exist, I don't do any of this stuff. The intro doesn't look the way it does. The screen doesn't look the way it does, because I am making no revenue off this podcast, and I'm not going to spend extra money on it and hire people to do it. Now, theoretically, if I had millions of viewers, I'd be paying people to do the art. But I don't.
Right.
So we're in a situation where none of this exists because AI doesn't exist. So what it is creating an opportunity for smaller podcasts to be able to make stuff easily or quicker or cheaper or free, in my case, that nobody else would. That normally wouldn't even get done because I never would pay for it. And especially with the smaller scale of the podcast, my access to being able to make the intro interesting or to change up the screen where we sit and talk about stuff with our little Discord characters blinking. It's probably just a blank screen in a normal scenario.
Yeah.
Right. Something that just occurred to me, the law even is on your side as far as where the creativity is. Because, if you were to use an AI tool, the AI tool doesn't own the copyright to what you create. You do.
The intro looks the way it does because of a long running amount of effort. You might go, well, you just type in Batman character. To tell you how complex to try and get everything to look exactly the way it was, I had to first generate the characters after multiple attempts to get them right. One of the hardest ones was Jason, for some reason, to get me just happy with his character. And then I take that character and then I create a transparent background. And then I put it into another situation where I now want to generate something like an idle animation, so it sits here and it moves and that sort of thing. And then when I put it onto stuff, I edit it in DaVinci Resolve. I take DaVinci Resolve and then I create transparent, and then we have this background. If I were to type in, put this character into this scene and do this, it doesn't look good. It doesn't generate exactly what I want to. One of the most common issues I have, especially with the Batman character, is it keeps trying to give him a cape and a Batman outfit. Because it thinks he's supposed to be Batman. But the joke is, I'm just a nerd who thinks he's Batman. I'm not actually Batman. if you know what I'm talking about. But
Right.
the AI thinks I'm trying to create Batman. I'm not. And when I create the videos are actually separately generated images. The intro video, separately generated images. And then I take the characters and I put them into it. And then I generate a new video. If I try and put if I try and type in, put Batman character, Dr. Guy, Gunman, Godzilla Cat, it completely comes up with something dramatically different because it's not recreating the character designs I've previously established. It's not recreating them accurately. It changes them based upon what the AI's expectations are. Like there are multiple efforts of trying to get it all to work together that doesn't exist with just AI alone. I had to tell it specifically I want it to this and this and this. Now it's easier with somebody like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise because you can say Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise fight, and the AI understands exactly who Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise is because there's a lot of imagery of what they look like. We all know exactly what they look like. The AI doesn't understand Batman with shorts on and mask or whatever because it thinks it's Batman. It doesn't think it's this separate character that's me being nerdy.
Right.
And so all of this it takes a lot more effort, a lot more time, but it's like, well, you can get an artist, and it's like, well, cost. But I could put in all of this extra time over multiple months, generating individual characters, getting the designs the way I wanted to, getting the animations the way I wanted to, generating backgrounds, every single video and the intro are all put together from multiple attempts, taking the characters separately, putting them into new scenarios, generating that video, getting alterations, figuring out how to talk to AI so it understands what I'm trying to tell it is also very difficult. Because oftentimes it doesn't understand what you're trying. It's like Jason's video, every time, because he's nerdy Doctor Man, it makes him afraid of the monster coming out of the chest. So he'd be like, then you try and run away. I had to like multiple attempts and multiple alterations of the phrasing to get it to understand I want Jason to fight the monster coming out of his chest, not just be afraid and run away. It's a whole different thing. And AI is going to change stuff. And I think there's a lot of questions we're going to have to answer personally of like, where does slop start and where does it end? Where is AI okay and where it isn't? Because it's like, let's say we have a movie and all of the acting is done by actors, but all the background is AI. Because you watch prequel stuff with George Lucas, and Ewan McGregor talks about the prequels, and he's like, I don't remember a lot of those movies. Because most of it was me alone on a green screen.
Yeah.
Just doing stuff. He doesn't remember a lot of what happened. So what if it's Ewan McGregor and then you just replace it with AI generated background stuff on a green screen? Is that worse? Yeah. Well, because you didn't pay a guy to draw it, even though the AI stuff is now looking better than a lot of the CGI currently being created. Like, where's the line? There are actors involved. Now, I would prefer practical sets. I would prefer practical effects.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, it's like, well, somebody just drew it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe I'm a lot more passionate about said topic, but there's been lamenting on where AI is going.